Welcome to the Eventful Brands 2026 Intelligence Briefing from EventCR. Today, we're inside the global sponsorship ecosystem, one of 117 reports in the series covering $87.5 billion in global event sponsorship. If you're allocating sponsorship budget anywhere near this market or competing against brands that are, this is the intelligence that changes your next board presentation. Let's dive right in. $148.5 billion. That is the single most jaw-dropping statistic you're going to hear today. It's the total tracked annual sponsorship budget globally.
Right, but here's the structural reality you absolutely have to warn your board about today. A microscopic 0.55% of brands, the ones sitting in our platinum tier, basically control this entire market. They dictate all the terms. If you're operating without understanding this immense concentration of capital, you're literally flying blind.
Let's break down how that elite platinum Eventful Brand Score, or ABS tier, actually operates. Notice the massive divergence here. Coca-Cola drops a $700 million annual spend, mostly anchored by a multi-generational 48-year presenting partnership with the FIFA World Cup. And that generates a highly quantified 4.7% brand consideration uplift globally. Classic, right? It's the very definition of institutional memory.
Exactly. But then we counter that with Nike. This is where it gets crazy. Their staggering $1.35 billion in-house model completely bypasses traditional agency execution. They spend $150 million on the NFL alone, but they generate 32 distinct retail collections from it. They aren't just buying visibility. Their core product actually becomes the sponsorship currency.
And that brutally illustrates where we're heading. If you project this forward on our timeline, we aggressively map how these platinum megadeals trend toward a total competitor lockout by 2030. It's a lock. Brands that are securing baseline exclusivity today are executing data-driven consolidation for 2027. By the end of the decade, they will entirely block rival capital from premium properties. There just won't be room at the table. Which brings us to the severe competitive tension happening right now. You've got traditional incumbents deeply skewed toward brand visibility and legacy cash exchanges.
Yeah, and they're suddenly facing an aggressive infrastructure invasion from massive tech newcomers. These tech capital disruptors aren't just handing over cash for a logo on a billboard. They're integrating intellectual property and completely rebuilding digital infrastructure.
To see exactly how that tech disruption builds, just look at the Amazon case study. Amazon commits an unbelievable $1.75 billion annually, proving exactly how tech giants use media rights as a Trojan horse.
Absolutely. They acquired the NFL Thursday Night Football rights, but they utilize it purely as a customer acquisition cost arbitrage for Amazon Prime. It's brilliant, and they're completely rewriting the rules of sponsorship from the ground up.
Now, here's what most brands miss about this market. The data reveals something highly counterintuitive. 9.1% of classified deals are now owned properties. Think about that. Mega brands aren't just renting attention anymore. They're outright creating the properties themselves. This is cannibalizing traditional sponsorship rights holders in a massive, irreversible structural shift.
Which brings us perfectly to Red Bull. We dissect their $900 million portfolio here, and it's wild. They completely bypass traditional sponsor property relationships.
Totally. They own over 8 global properties. We're talking 2 Formula One teams, the Cliff Diving World Series, the whole operation. By owning the event, Red Bull generates a proprietary media ecosystem that exponentially outperforms rented attention.
Anchoring this shift with a forward-looking trajectory to 2030, the warning for event organizers is stark. We move from renting attention in 2024 to hybrid portfolios by 2027, straight into proprietary event dominance by 2030.
Right. The brands with the massive capital reserves will simply bypass organizers entirely. They're going to build rather than buy.
Let's look at a final case study with some escalating insight. LVMH executed a $150 million one-time sponsorship spend for the Paris 2024 Olympics. Louis Vuitton designing medal trays, Chaumet crafting the actual medals.
And what they proved is that custom infrastructure and experiential activation command 4 to 8 times the media value multiples. It utterly eclipses basic logo placement. For LVMH, the fee was just the entry ticket. The physical activation was the real asset.
Let's pivot to another aggressive structural finding. Here's a pattern break that's impossible to ignore. There is an absurd arbitrage gap right now. Women's sports sponsorship commands less than 5% of the global budget share, yet it's delivering 40% year-over-year viewership growth.
It's insane. It's literally the single largest underpricing anomaly in our entire global data set. If you're not paying attention to this, you're missing out on massive ROI.
Projecting this anomaly forward, the timeline makes it brutally clear. We are in a massive arbitrage window right now, today. But by 2027, as NWSL and WTA deals mature, that window firmly closes. Brands moving capital into women's sports right now are capturing historic mispricing before a guaranteed $10 billion market correction hits by 2030. The clock is ticking. So, bringing all 5 of these case studies together into one definitive strategic opportunity statement. The Eventful Brands data makes one thing unmistakable. Artificial intelligence and data asymmetry will ruthlessly penalize brands that continue allocating budgets based merely on media value. The structural shift is here. Traditional categories are over-indexed, while massive pricing arbitrage exists in owned properties and women's sports. Our final structural trajectory details exactly what happens next. In 2026, AI matchmaking absolutely replaces relationship-based selling. By 2028, we hit real-time property valuation.
If you act on this Event ZR intelligence today, you secure your position. But if you wait even 18 months, you face total data asymmetry and massive AI-optimized pricing premiums. You'll be priced out of the conversation.
EventZR Intelligence works with brands, rights holders, and event organizers to optimize sponsorship portfolios using data no one else has. If you're making allocation decisions based on media value alone, you're leaving millions on the table.
We build custom sponsorship intelligence for CMOs and boards. Start at eventcr.com or reach out to discuss how we can optimize your portfolio. This is one of 117 Eventful Brands 2026 briefings. Tag a colleague who allocates sponsorship budget. They need this.
This has been an Eventful Brands 2026 intelligence briefing from EventCR. Sponsor smarter.